Mobile phones are now part of our lives, and there are now so many options. There are, however, original phones and duplicates. Duplicates may not be fake, but they are not from the original manufacturer, meaning that there are slight differences. How do you tell an original from a duplicate?
I will start with the Samsung. The Samsung is a little bit hard. Why? Because the Chinese one almost looks exactly like the real phone, but there's a code you can actually dial. If you dial *#0, you'll see the difference between a Chinese and the real original Samsung. But the similarity is actually the same. The battery, the outside, even the whole housing, they actually look the same. It's a little features that someone has to be keen to, like the tones. And the original Samsung has different tones. The tones have a little bit of a bass compared to the Chinese one. The Chinese one, if you do this, you'll feel a Chinese thing, a Chinese tone. So that's what makes a Samsung a little bit complicated. People have them and they can't actually tell they are Chinese. Unless you do the whole star thing and then or you listen to the tones, being a little bit keen to the display as well. But it's a bit hard. For the Nokia and the other phones like Motorola, HTC, it's very easy to tell because the display has, the Chinese have failed to actually find way around the display, even the features on top. Yeah, so it's easy to tell for any other phone apart from Samsung. You can actually buy a fake phone for Samsung compared to any other phone.
The user experience might in fact be almost similar between originals and duplicates. Sticking with the Samsung, one of the most widely owned smartphones in Uganda, the accessories might help you see the difference.
The Samsung will lose more battery compared to an original phone. And then it will heat up. Samsung tends to heat up if it's Chinese, depending on how long you're charging it, because even the charger most times is fake. So the phone tends to heat up a little bit compared to the original one. And then in terms of durability, that's if you drop it. You stand high chances of breaking a Samsung than an original Samsung phone. Why? Because even when you hold, the Samsung is a little bit heavier compared to the Chinese one. And then the cost. If you're going to buy, for example, a Nest 4 original, you might find that an original one will be at about 1 point something, 1.4, 1.7, 1.6, depending on where you're buying it from. But you'll get a good deal of a Chinese one without knowing. Someone will tell you, I have a nice Samsung phone and give you a deal at 400,000, and people will run and buy it.
For the other brands, originals have a finer screen display compared to duplicates. Then there is the iPhone from Apple.
If you're buying from abroad, it's very, very easy for you to buy a fake iPhone, especially if you're buying from the airport. When you're leaving or you're coming in, you get a good deal, someone will give you a good deal, and you easily pack it without switching it on. But here, it's very hard to buy a fake iPhone. It's the easiest to tell that this is a fake iPhone.
For elimination of any doubt, do your due diligence. Spend a few minutes to find out what originals are, if you care, before you buy.
Just buy phones from authorized dealers. Then you don't have to only buy a fake phone from an outside phone. You can actually even buy a stolen phone. You know, now there's so many phones running around and it's easier to track. So I always advise people to buy phones from authorized dealers. Yeah, and then you can always have room to go back in case of any errors or issues with your phone.